Your fingers know the keyboard cold. You have typed your password 10,000 times without a single conscious thought. The sequence runs completely on autopilot. Then, your manager stops behind your chair. Suddenly, your hands feel like they belong to a stranger. You mistype the password. You mistype it again. Performance research shows that freezing strikes the exact tasks you are best at. The more automatic a skill is, the more spectacularly it can fall apart when someone watches you do it. This paralysis is a highly predictable systemic glitch in the human nervous system. The mere presence of an audience alters how humans function, a biological reality researchers were measuring long before the modern office existed. Back in 1898, researcher Norman Triplett noticed that cyclists consistently rode faster when they were racing against other people on the track, rather than riding alone against a clock. For decades, these findings frustrated psychologists. Sometimes a crowd lifted a person up, and other times it completely crushed them. An audience is a volatile catalyst. To figure out exactly how it works, we have to look past the crowd and map what is happening inside the performer's body. In the 1960s, a psychologist named Robert Zajonc proposed a working theory. He argued that an audience turns up your internal arousal and physical activation, amplifying whatever response is already most likely to happen. If a task is heavily practiced, your default response is to do it well. Extra adrenaline helps seasoned professionals execute routines faster and smoother. This chart plots pressure against performance. A small bump sharpens focus, pushing you up this curve to peak output. But when your boss watches, the stakes feel higher. That pressure pushes arousal way past the peak, triggering a steep collapse in ability. You haven't forgotten how to do your job. Your nervous system has simply flooded a delicate, automatic process with far too much electricity. When you realize you are being evaluated, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for deliberate control, dials down. Simultaneously, your deeper threat and reward circuitry spikes violently upward. Think of working memory as a clean grid, your mental RAM. Mastered skills normally bypass this, but anxiety from being evaluated floods this RAM with warning signals, leaving no room for the task. To cope, the brain forces autopilot offline, executing the task manually, step by step. That is the freeze. Your brain is forcefully reverting a mastered, frictionless skill back to a clumsy, day-one manual mode. Picture two employees in the same open-plan office. They have the same job and the same training. When the director walks by, one worker keeps typing without missing a beat, while the other completely loses their train of thought. If the physical environment is identical, something else is driving the crash. Psychologists trace this divergence to a specific trait, the fear of negative evaluation. It is the deep internal dread that other people are forming a low opinion of you. For the first employee, a manager walking past is just background noise. For the second employee, those exact same footsteps sound like a courtroom verdict being delivered on their career. The freeze happens exclusively because of the story the brain tells itself about what an audience's attention means. You can keep your brain off manual mode by actively lowering those invented stakes. Consciously remind yourself that a simple request to open a file is not a referendum on your career. The strict rule for preserving your autopilot is to shift your attention outward. Focus entirely on the external goal, the spreadsheet cell or the file name, to stop your brain from monitoring your own trembling hands. You can also teach your nervous system that observation is safe by microdosing the pressure. Volunteer to share your screen with a trusted colleague before you have to do it in front of executives. And if you are the manager hovering over the desk, you have the power to lower the felt threat of your presence. Normalize mistakes out loud and communicate that you are there to support your team, not to grade them. Freezing under pressure is a biological setting you can adjust. By changing how you interpret the observer, you can keep your arousal in check, protect your working memory, and let your trained hands do exactly what they already know how to do.